let's dive into stop thinking overwhelm is normal. All right. Every mother from time to time is bound to get or bound to feel overwhelmed at some point. It's absolutely natural, right? Like if you didn't get overwhelmed, like overwhelm comes from that feeling of feeling pressured, feeling like you're being pulled in a million different directions, like there's not enough time in the day to do everything that you want to do, right? And there are times, no matter what kind of mom you are, whether you're a super mom or you've learned to take your cape off, you will feel overwhelmed. So recognize that that is completely normal and it is a natural part of motherhood. But not every day, not even every week, not even every season, right? There are seasons that we go through as a mom, right? There's the infant season, or like the newborn season, the toddler season. It usually comes up like with your kids, right? Right now, I don't even know what season I'm in because I've got kids all from 8 years old so I've got like the preteen, I've got the teenagers, I've got the adult children, right? Like I've got the whole gamut. Well, I don't have the toddler season. I'm out of that season. Thank goodness. but like we have these seasons and they're based on like when our kids are, like what season you're in. And there's some seasons that bring overwhelm a lot more than others. But let's just dive in. What is overwhelm, right? It's a feeling. It's a feeling that you feel. Two moms can go through the exact same situation or same circumstances or same season and have completely different, like one completely feels crippled by the overwhelm and the other mom goes right through it, right? Like not batting an eye. And so it's our thoughts that we have about what's going on, the thoughts we have about our circumstances that make us feel either overwhelmed or not overwhelmed. And that's one of the things that we talk about in my big program is shifting those thoughts that you have to create different feelings. And the overwhelm, these thoughts that you're having, right, comes from our own expectations. We expect ourselves to do way too much, like more than the average person can do, right? More than a human can do. We hold these expectations on ourselves, like saying, we should be able to do all the things. We should be able to get everything done in a day that we want to get done, right? And these expectations keep us trapped. They keep us in that endless feeling of overwhelm. When we believe that we have to do all of the things ourselves, like when we refuse to ask for help, or we feel too guilty about asking for help, or shame, or inadequate, right? And it reinforces when you don't ask for help, or when you try to do everything yourself, or try to do everything that you want to do in a day. All of these things, like it perpetuates the cycle of feeling inadequate or believing that you're inadequate because it's not humanly possible to do all the things that you want to do, or it's not humanly possible to do all the things by yourself. We are social beings, right? But until you learn that it's okay to ask for help, you're going to stay stuck in that cycle of overwhelm. Overwhelm comes from the inability to judge the amount of time that we have available, right? We all have 24 hours. I hate that expression. Like, we all have, like, there's some expression about like, Beyonce has the same 24 hours as us, right? But like, it's how you're using that time and what you think about that time and your priorities. Like, those are all the things that differ. Right? My values may be different from your values. My beliefs may be different from your beliefs. My beliefs are different from your beliefs. We don't believe 100% of the same exact things. And so how we spend our time is a reflection of those values and of our beliefs. And so when we are inappropriately judging the amount of time that we have, and our priorities are not aligned with how we're spending our time, It's going to prevent us, it's going to keep us in that state of overwhelm. And then finally, we get stuck in overwhelm because we have lost the ability to set and uphold boundaries. We've stopped saying no. We stopped protecting our time and our own space from others infringing upon it. And so when you're continually saying yes to things that aren't aligning with your values, it's going to put you in a state of overwhelm. Absolutely. You're going to feel stressed out. You're going to feel like trapped. You're going to feel overcommitted, overscheduled, overbooked, whatever it is. And until you learn to set boundaries, until you become comfortable with saying no and being comfortable with giving yourself time, then you're going to continue to be in that state. All right, let me check, see if anyone's watching live. If you have any questions about this. All right. Okay, I'm not thinking. I'm refreshing my screen trying to check. Okay. So when you're in a state of overwhelm, like I say, I'm going to go through this, even though I know many of you are like, you know what the feeling of overwhelm looks like. You know what the feeling of overwhelm feels like. It's heavy, right? It feels like you're stretched thin and you can't give much else. But it comes out. It comes out every day. When you're in that state of overwhelm, it can look like you lashing out at your kids, having a really short fuse and not being able to express any anger, or even the fact that it's bringing up anger in you over small things, over things that you wouldn't ordinarily stress about or become angry about. You're having like inappropriate emotional reactions to the small things. It could look like that you're losing patience. You're at the end of your wits. Maybe you're feeling very like short fused. It can look like unexplainable crying spells where you're very emotional. It could look like ugly cries or angry cries, like just angry tears at just those small things. It might come out like substance use. You might find that you're needing that glass of wine every single night just to take the edge off, just to relax, right? If you're needing substances such as alcohol or drugs or tobacco to relax you, and I say that with air quotes, then you might want to look at what changes can you make to decrease that overwhelm that you're feeling so that you don't have to turn to substances in order to bring you down. And just as a side note, it's actually having the opposite reaction. And substances lend or contribute to an increase in anxiety and feelings of overwhelm. Zoning out on your phone is an escape. This is common, right? When you're feeling overwhelmed, it is all too easy to grab that phone. We all carry it and escape from the overwhelm by zoning out, endless scrolling, not being intentional about your phone use. And then, as you know, minutes turn into hours. Like it can really suck you in, especially some of the social media apps. You know, I know you're on Facebook right now watching this, but you're being intentional about that. You are learning stuff. And my goal is to help you implement what you are learning in today's live so that it changes for you, right? Like that overwhelm can dissipate, that overwhelm can decrease, and you can start feeling more in control of the life that you're living. It might show up as feelings of being trapped or stuck. And then you might be also struggling with concentrating, with concentration or making decisions, right? It can come up in a lot of ways when you are constantly in that state of overwhelm. So let's talk about how to make overwhelm not normal. right? How to stop the overwhelm so that you are, so that you can feel calm and cool, calm, and collected, right? And feel like you can be present in the moment with your family, for yourself, instead of always feeling like you are being pulled in a million different directions and totally stretched thin. So the first thing is to let go of perfectionism. And when you think of perfectionism, you might be thinking like wanting everything to be perfect. But in fact, perfectionism shows up in motherhood in lots of different ways. And I've done episodes and Facebook Lives about this specific subject, about how perfectionism manifests in motherhood. And it's not always wanting everything to be perfect. It's when you struggle to even, sit down and rest because you've got piles of laundry or dirty dishes in the sink. It is just that thought of like having to do all of the things that you have to do in a day and not having that time to do it, right? Like learning how to cut your goals in half and prioritize and set some boundaries and do the things that you need to do in order to let go of that perfectionism. It's being self-compassionate, talking to yourself with kindness instead of criticizing yourself and reinforcing the beliefs. It's actively working towards shifting those beliefs so that you can treat yourself with kindness, so that you can practice self-care. It's saying no more often. That's only part of setting boundaries, but that is so important because if you are having too many things in your day, if you have too many things on your schedule, then that means you're saying yes to way too many things. And so learning how to prioritize and learning to align your values with what you're spending your time on and learning to say no, getting comfortable with that, that's all going to contribute to making overwhelm not your norm. And then finally, believing that you are worthy of relaxing, worthy of resting, worthy of engaging in self-care, worthy of pursuing your interests and getting a hobby and having friends and all of the things that you may have done away with once you became a mom, for the sake of doing it all for your family. Once you step back from that and you realize that you are worthy of, you're deserving of spending time on. Your kids deserve to know their mom, to have a mom that is truly herself and not putting herself on the back burner for their sake. So if you're struggling with any of these, if what I said today has resonated with you and you start recognizing like, hey, you've got some work to do. I've got the Supermom Detox, right? That's my big program where I help moms with all of this. I help you with all of this. I help you take off your cape. I help you prioritize yourself, get your values, get your priorities lined up so that how you're spending your time feels good to you. You're not in that state of overwhelm. You're not feeling that stress, that constant stress, because that's not good for anyone. So I am throwing in an incentive if you sign up for a call with me. And during this call, we're going to talk about what is keeping you stuck. What's stopping you from getting to that place of not being overwhelmed? We're going to get clear on that. And then we're going to see, where do you want your life to be? How do you want your life to be? And then we'll talk about ways that I can help you. The Supermom Detox is just one of the options. But when we get on this call, it's going to give us an opportunity to see how I can best help you and what your next step is. But the extra incentive is that free ticket to the vision board party that I talked about earlier in today's live. If you sign up for a call by December 15th, I'm going to give you a free ticket. So you could go ahead and pay $10 to come to the cool vision board party we're having, or you can just sign up for a call, see what your next step is, and score a free ticket. So it's your choice. I hope you choose the latter because I'd really like to chat with you and help you get clear about what's stopping you. What's stopping you from creating the life you want and getting back to who you are. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the links to both of them in the comments. Both of them, I meant. the link to schedule a call. You can see what days and times I have. If those times don't work, definitely let me know. Reach out to me, momswithoutcapes.com/love yourself. That's going to bring you up to my calendar where you can see what days and times I have available. And then if you are just interested in doing the vision board party, then go to momswithoutcapes.com/vision board. And you can find out details about that. Either way, it's going to be found in the comments of today's video or in the show notes of the episode if you're listening to this through podcast. All right, that is it. I want to thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope that you have an amazing day.